Okay, so we did chapter 18 last time. It's been a bit of a pause. I was hoping to get on the next day and do the next chapter, but it's been a bit busy for me. So we did chapter 18 last time. That's where God and two other travellers, so he came presented as a traveller. It was God and two others, which I think in the next chapter are going to be identified as two angels that came with him, according to the study text. But God came down as a traveller, appearing as a traveller, and came to meet Abraham just to confirm the promise that he'd made to him and Sarah, and confirm that Sarah will have a child. And then of course Abraham was bargaining with God about, if he found anyone that was righteous in Sodom, would he save them or would he destroy everything? So we'll move swiftly on to chapter 19. There isn't really much else to comment on there. Chapter 19. The Immorality of Sodom. The two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them, and bowed himself with his face to the earth, and said, My lords, turn aside, I pray you, to your servant's house, and spend the night, and wash your feet. Then you may rise up early, and go on your way. They said, No, we will spend the night in the street. But he urged them strongly, so they turned aside to him and entered his house. And he made them a feast, and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. But before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, all the people, to the last man, surrounded the house. And they called to Lot, Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them. Lot went out of the door to the men, shut the door after him, and said, I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Behold, I have two daughters who have not known man. Let me bring them out to you, and do to them as you please. Only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof. But they said, Stand back. And they said, This fellow came to sojourn, and he would play the judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. Then they pressed hard against the man Lot, and drew near to break the door. But the men put forth their hands and brought Lot into the house to them, and shut the door. And they struck with blindness the men who were at the door of the house, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves, groping for the door. Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. Then the man said to Lot, Have you anyone else here? Sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or any one you have in the city? Bring them out of the place, for we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against its people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and said to his sons-in-law, who were to marry his daughters, Up, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy the city. But he seemed to his sons-in-law to be jesting. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, Arise, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city. But he lingered, so the men seized him and his wife and his two daughters by the hand, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him forth and set him outside the city. And when they had brought them forth, they said, Flee for your life, do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Flee to the hills, lest you be consumed. And Lot said to them, O no, my lords, behold, your servant has found favour in your sight, and you have shown me great kindness in saving my life, but I cannot flee to the hills, lest the disaster overtake me and I die. Behold, yonder city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Let me escape there. Is it not a little one, and my life will be saved? He said to him, Behold, I grant you this favour also, that I will not overthrow the city of which you have spoken. Make haste, escape there, for I can do nothing till you arrive there. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zoar. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the valley, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord, and he looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the valley, and beheld, and behold, the smoke of the land went up like the smoke of a furnace. So it was that when God destroyed the cities of the valley, God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. The shameful origin of the Moabites and Ammonites. Now Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the hills with his 2 daughters, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar. So he dwelt in a cave with his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man on earth to come in to us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve offspring through our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. He did not know when she lay down or when she arose, and on the next day the firstborn said to the younger, Behold, I lay last night with my father. Let us make him drink wine tonight also. Then you go in and lie with him, that we may preserve offspring through our father. So they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot were with child by their father. The firstborn bore a son, and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. The younger also bore a son, and called his name Ben-Ammi. He is the father of the Ammonites to this day. That's the end of that chapter. Wow. Okay. A couple of bits that stood out there to me when the angels came to Sodom and Lot asked them to come into the house. They came in. He made them a feast, and all the people, all the men of Sodom came and surrounded the house and wanted to come in. Just before I read the chapter in the study text, it said that they wanted to come in and rape the angels. Apparently that was a well-known practice at the time, so that we may know them. This is more than just a sin against hospitality, as the mob is pressing in to abuse the visiting men in a perverted homosexual way. This form of sexual depravity, which is a grievous offence against God and nature, was rampant among the peoples indigenous to Canaan. There you go. And yeah, Lot was willing to endanger his own 2 daughters to ensure the protection of his guests. But then the men rejected the offer of the girls and were preferring to rape the men. So the Sodomites' disordered preference for men over women was accentuated at the rejection of the offer of the 2 girls. So quite a bit to digest there. Then the 2 girls have lay with the father and both become pregnant, had children a bit further down the line. A turn of events there. So I'll digest that and we'll come back hopefully tomorrow for chapter 20.